All right. I call the meeting to order at, what time is it?
707.
7:07. Okay. So nobody here from the public to comment. Roll call. Brian Allen,
Here.
Ralph Croy,
Here.
Sid Gold here, and Scott is not here. Okay. So the first thing on the discussion is whether GHNNC should make a contribution to the Congress of Neighborhood Councils.
My opinion is no.
Okay. Why is that? Can you give us a reason?
Because I was very disappointed in the way they handled it before, and what has happened is it is basically taken over by Dunn. Dunn has inserted itself into both the Congress and budget tribunes, and they are basically supporting them and I won't say managing, but they're kind of quasi directing them. And I just don't agree with the way it's all going down, and I don't think it's worthy of a citywide support at this point.
I agree with you.
Well,
I
let me
think,
say, I was very upset with last year's Congress. You may or may not know about for how they selected the speakers. Anyway, so I'm now on the program committee, and I have not really seen any involvement from Dunn yet on the committee. And I was struck at a meeting the other day that Raquel did not know that the meeting was only going to be remote. She thought it was going to be live. So
Yeah, I heard that.
so I don't see that what you're saying. You may be right. I just don't see it. That
Well, it's how it started out last year. Dunn really supported them in getting them going. The new group.
Right.
She interceded, and what, in my opinion, it was a takeover, and she facilitated the takeover. And I backed away last year because of that, and I want nothing to do with them. So it is a personal thing with me, and it's just my opinion, and I doubt that I'm going to change it anytime soon.
Okay. So Ralph, any
I
other
agree.
thoughts?
I agree. It seems like dictating.
So the recommendation that will come from the committee is that um, GHNNC should not support the Congress,
Finance.
financially support the Congress. There may be people at the meeting who disagree, but that will be our report from the committee. I have to say that I want to see a little bit more. Be at the next meeting. I want to see what process they go through in selecting the speakers
Yeah.
before I say yes or no. I'm not at that point.
Well, I'll be interested to hear from you.
Okay. And the next one has to do we have anything, even if we're not supporting it, is there any sort of areas that you want to be discussed or looked at for the Congress?
Um, because everything's going to change with all new management in the city, I would, me myself, I'm going to bow out of that for the moment. I don't think that there's anything that I can suggest to them that's going to be of any real value, because we won't know where the city's going and how it's going until the election is over.
But what's your thought about transition? Should there be some sort of plan, or would you like to see something?
Well, I agree with you. I think your words are a good idea, but I have not been very pleased with any plans that the city makes. So I don't see where anything that they can do. I can't suggest anything that I think they can accomplish in helping people. And
See, what I would like to see some exploration about how to deal with the homeless in some different way than just throwing money
really,
at it. That's what I'd like to hear from other voices around who've dealt with the homeless in different ways. I don't see any movement here except raising money for business and to builders and whatever. That's and property owners. I don't see any people moving off the street getting so. So that's one of my, I don't see any great minds coming up with any approach to dealing with the homeless situation. And in my mind, it's almost as if they want a homeless situation.
I think the homeless situation gives them more funds to work with.
Maybe, that I may be a little skeptical, but I remember when the homeless department was 2 people, and now it's thousands of people. And it hasn't improved at all with all that people in the department. So,
well, you could say 1,000 people are no longer homeless.
No, they weren't homeless before. They just moved new jobs in the bureaucracy. Okay. So Brian, you still here? Not here. Brian?
How come my video is shut off?
Let's see. Did Brian leave? Let's see. Let me see.
I get a note here that you cannot start your video because your host has disabled it.
I have. Let's see what happened here. Let me see. Let's see. Brian's gone. What happened to you? Just you, Ralph. Looks like you've got it off. I don't think I turned it off. You sure?
Well, push the start video and I can't get rid of it. And I got a note here that says you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
Let's see. Anyway, and Brian is gone altogether. So don't know what happened to him. So we don't have, unless I get, do
you see a picture of me there?
no picture.
What is this? Share comment. Only host can share. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. I don't get. I can't share content, and I don't start the video.
Let's see.
And this says there are only 2
I
participants.
know Brian's gone. Let me see. I know what happened here. Yeah, I don't see anything how I can control the video. Okay, I can control the voice, but I can't control the video. That I can't see. Anyways, we lost Brian. I don't know what happened there. So we're going to put the recording on hold for a minute and see if I can get Scott to come. Hold on a second.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know why you've lost your picture. I can mute you.
I can. I'm not on mute, so you can hear me, can't you?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you see me?
Oh, yes, I can. We can go on with the meeting. I don't have to look at myself.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see me? I don't see anything here where I can raise my hand either.
No, I don't see you. Hi, Scott. Okay. All right, so I want to go on to item number 6, discussion of possible action regarding mandatory training, council file 200990. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it.
May I make a comment here?
Yes,
Maybe I'm not in as as a member of the thing, only as a persistent, you know,
you're not a panelist.
maybe that's what it is. I'm not as a panelist.
You're marked here on my panel. You're a panelist, so.
Oh, okay,
I
that
see
takes care of that idea for me.
No, I see 2 panelists. Okay. So Ralph, did you look at the document that I sent out on the council file to,
Apparently not. I don't have that in my file right here, so.
it's on the agenda. There was a link to it. Did you
Oh,
not look at the link? Okay. Let's see if I can get it up on the screen for you. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to. I'm gonna try to share my screen so you can see it, okay? Just a second. Okay, you see the document now, Rob?
okay, now I see it. It's no fiscal impacts for this report, okay.
Okay, so I'll start from the top there. It's basically a report on neighborhood councils and mandatory training, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's a list of proposals made by Dunn to the city council on what power they will have over neighborhood councils in mandatory training. So I'll read it. Approve the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment and SHRED, which is an organization at USC, report and instruct the departments to continue the implementation of mandatory diversity, equity, and inclusion training and anti-bias gender expression and gender identity training for all members of the Los Angeles neighborhood councils as described in this report.
Oh, my gosh.
Scott, did you hear me? Any comments? Or?
What are they trying to do? Bias us?
So are they trying to bias us? I don't know. That's number 1. I'll read number 2. Request the Office of City Attorney in consultation with the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment and any other relevant department to prepare and present an ordinance amending the administrative code to require neighborhood council board and committee members to complete the training on implicit bias developed for the city employees in compliance with Mayor Executive Order Directive number 27. So basically, if you read all of it, basically giving the Department of Neighborhood power to tell us what to do and how to change our bylaws. I'm concerned about the word complete. What does complete the training mean? Okay. I'll tell you, to me, complete means that you pass an examination or somebody show that you've taken the training. And if you'd heard my objections in the past, I didn't mind taking the training as long as I didn't have to pass the test to show that I knew it.
Or
So
that you,
I'm not a lawyer, but I'm concerned about the word complete. What does that mean? Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that means. To me, I think the wording has to be changed just that they take the course.
have the exposure of it, in other words.
No, I don't. I took the course. I answered every question. I think I got all the questions wrong. All the answers were not what they were looking for.
I think same thing happened to me.
So
I
as
don't-
long as, so I don't know what the word complete means. I would have that stricken altogether. Members to take the training, okay, not to complete the training.
I
And
agree
against
with
the
you.
whole thing anyways, but I think our council will vote to take the training. They seem to be in favor of it. So I think we should remove the word complete. That would be a concern to me. Any thoughts about that? And change it to take.
I agree with you.
Scott? Okay.
It's part of a
Okay, you don't-
brainwash.
Excuse me?
To me, it sounds like
I'm
brainwash.
against the whole thing. Okay. So we can propose that the last time we said we were against something, they voted to accept it. Okay. But this is a little more, the other one was a little more confusing. This is completely, to me, we're having a czar come over. So let me read number 3. Request the city, offer the city attorney in consultation with Department of Neighborhood Empowerment and any other relevant to prepare, okay, let's see. That's right, to prepare, to promulgate an ordinance, all procedures, rules, regulations, as well as issue any directives or moratoriums necessary for the resolutions of any challenges to current and future required trainings for neighborhood councils. So basically what that says, we will never have a word to make a comment about any future trainings. That's, so I think that should be totally removed, number 3. That's my thought. Any thoughts about that?
Agree.
Okay. How's your son doing?
Okay.
Good.
You can hear the noise.
That's okay. As long as you're here. How's Rena doing? You getting better? I hope.
Getting there.
Okay, good.
Getting there. She's in bed, so.
Okay. So let me read on. Okay. You take care of her. Request the office of city attorney in consultation with blah, 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 to prepare and present an ordinance authorizing the department to amend neighborhood council bylaws to ensure that the bylaws comply with the instructions of the Los Angeles Administrative Code of the plan for a citywide system of neighborhood councils. So they basically want to change the code that established neighborhood councils so they can change our bylaws. I think that should be,
Ridiculous.
I think that should be removed too. Ralph, any thoughts?
Well, I'm outraged on that because it tells me, these are the rules, you will follow the rules, you will follow our rules no matter what.
Okay, so we're in agreement in changing into the word from complete to take, and we're totally against number 3 and 4.
Yes,
Okay, so let me read 5. Request the city attorney, blah, 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 to prepare and present an ordinance authorizing the department to amend neighborhood. Okay, I read that one. Numbers.
I mean, this
Oh,
is,
no, that's different. Okay, neighborhood councils bylaws and to affix neighborhood councils bylaws amendments is necessary to promulgate training procedures, rules and regulations promulgated by the department. So that anything they say will have to go into our bylaws. So they're going to change our bylaws and then they're going to say whatever they pass goes into our bylaws. Okay.
well, what we're really doing now is saying We're not interested in what you think as a neighborhood. This is what we're telling you to think.
Right, they want everything, they want the power. So are we against that? You're voting against 5?
I'm against it. I vote against it.
Okay. Number 6, the training rules and regulations shall take precedence over any inconsistent language in the neighborhood council bylaws.
Wow.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
You will follow the orders.
Okay, I think we're against 6 too.
100%. I'm against that.
Okay, and finally, number 7, request the Department of Neighbor Empowerment and the city office, the city clerk, to provide a report describing the training currently provided to the neighborhood council system and recommending what training, if any, should be also be made mandatory by ordinance. So I don't think there should be any mandatory training and no ordinance to be allowing that. That's my,
We're volunteering our time.
well, you are, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're elected. Okay, you're appointed. Now, we're not volunteers, we're elected. And they're telling us we have no power. We can't say anything.
Well, what's the point of being elected then, right?
This is what's being recommended. And I agree with you 100%. Okay. So we're against 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. And we're going to amend 2 and leave 1. Okay, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let me get rid of this document here. Let me go back to the agenda here. Find it. Okay. That finishes number 6, okay. Discussion and possible action regarding future formats of meetings of the board and its committees. So that has to do with when the mandates are over, are we gonna have in-person meetings or hybrid meetings? Oh, here's Brian's back. Brian, you're back?
I'm back on.
Okay. Well, we finished number 6, and I'll give you a summary. We accepted number 1, and number 2, we wanted to change the word to complete to take, and we were against all the other recommendations.
Okay. I'll live with whatever you've done.
Okay, I'm just saying that's what we decided. Okay, now we're back to talking about the future of how meetings are to be. Are we gonna have hybrid meetings? Are we gonna have in-person meetings? Are we gonna have Zoom meetings? And I understand the city council passed something the other day. I haven't had a chance to read it. But future meetings, but it's something that go into effect in October of this year. Are you aware of any decision?
No, I'm not at the moment.
Okay. Well, what's your thinking? You think we should do hybrid?
Well, I think, well, I probably mixed feeling on it. I believe that all the boards themselves should be in-person meetings. I'm not an individual who thinks that you can do it proper justice by doing it online. If anyone else in the city thought that was the case, they wouldn't have in-person city council meetings. So I'm of that feeling that in-person is the best way. However, I don't want to disenfranchise or eliminate people's interest in meeting with us, and so I would be in favor of having a hybrid environment where if people want to be present in a Zoom meeting, they may, but it's going to require that each council spend about $5,000 in order to accomplish that task. So I'm kind of on both sides of the fence here. The board members should be present in person with each other, and anyone else can be there or can be online.
I agree with that. And if the city wants to spend more money on $5,000 on each council, then the city has to dig into it.
Yeah.
So Brian, as our fiscal expert, you think 5,000 is too much, too little, break the budget?
Well, the reason I say five grand is because it's going to require that every council have a big screen monitor. It's going to require that each member of the board have a notepad that they can be on, so that the people that are online can see them, and it's going to require a camera system for those people who are present to be seen at the podium when they are addressing the council. So I figure that that's going to cost, on the average, somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000. Maybe not as low as $3,000, but it's going to, because each notepad would be somewhere between $300 and $500. I wouldn't go with Apple iPads.
So they're basically a tablet of some
Yeah,
kind.
a tablet, a cheap tablet.
So that you're not counting the license fee, you know.
There's no license fee other than the Zoom license, and I don't agree with the webinar environment either. I think it should be a Zoom environment. I think one person should be dedicated to manage it, which means that when somebody gets unruly or out of line, is disruptive, they are immediately removed, and that takes care of the problem that they had with Zoom bombing.
See, by the Brown Act, you don't have to identify yourself.
No, you don't. That's
that
correct.
is a problem.
They don't have to have the audience don't have to have a camera on if they don't want to. They still
don't
can
even
call
have to
in.
say they can just say they don't even have to give their name.
Yeah.
So, but that happens now. So Scott, did you hear Brian?
I'm sorry?
Scott is on the phone. I want to know if he heard you. Or
Oh.
Did you hear him?
I'm here.
Did you hear Brian?
I heard it.
Okay.
Brian.
Yeah. What? So what's your thought about?
I mean, I like the hybrid. God knows if this pandemic's going to come back, something else is going to hit us. And if we, you should have that option of, either being remote or in person.
Well, what Brian is proposing is that the board would not be hybrid. Okay, they would have to be there.
The hybrid, I disagree with that.
Okay.
I think you should have the option of hybrid.
So Scott is saying he'd like the board also have the opportunity to be hybrid.
And there are many people that have that attitude, and they are entitled to it. I don't have a problem with anyone feeling different than I do, but I can tell you that since the Zoom meetings have happened, there has been a lot less interaction. There is a lot less participation from the audience, and the boards are struggling to have quorum because they don't get quorum all the time. There are some boards that really have a big struggle. They have quorum, they lose quorum, they have quorum, they lose quorum in the same meeting, and they have to call people up to have votes.
Ryan, is there data on that somewhere from Dunn?
I doubt it. I doubt that anybody's keeping it. I see it when I go to meetings. That's how I know.
It would be good to have some sort of data to present.
Yeah, I think we should start amassing some data, but that means actually getting involved in, really attending meetings and trying to understand them. And how do you do that? Because they're all webinars now. And let's take Reseda, for instance. Reseda's webinar, the only person you see is the president, ever. You don't know how many board members are present. You have no idea. You can't see them because they're not there. They don't turn their cameras on, and they use gallery view, not gallery. They use the personal view. So it's not well designed to start with, and part of that is because a lot of people want to be they want to be independent, and they don't want to be seen on camera. So if we're going to be responsible to do city business and spend city money and communicate with the public, then we need to be dedicated to doing that, in my opinion. And you can't do that from a distance. You have to do that in person if you're going to get it done effectively.
You have to do it in person, and you have to contact people in your environment. I mean, you're representing people. You have to talk to them. And now when it comes to training, do you have to train all the people you're talking to? I mean, at what point does this stop?
Well, it stops when the NC system stops, because the NC system will fail totally if it stays hybrid. It will not survive this.
It would be interesting if we could have data, okay, to support.
I agree with you. I would like to I'd like to try and get some, and I'll see what I can do to.
That could be our recommendation.
Yeah.
That done compile a survey of participation and the regularity of board meetings and things like that.
I'll second that.
Well, Sid, I haven't given up on the idea of establishing a region meeting above all the councils in the regions, where once a month all the councils in a region send a representative to a regional meeting where those councils talk among themselves. I also would like to see each region actually talking with other regions. And I agree, I know this is what Lank was supposed to be, but Lank has not achieved that goal. They have one meeting a month, representatives from as many councils as will send, and that's it.
Well, it is one meeting a month. I don't disagree with that. It's you're dealing with a group of people who are elected participants. I think need some sort of incentive to increase participation.
Yeah, that would be nice. Sid, that would be nice, but the problem with that is it's a lot of dollars, and the authority that each one of these NCs have is not big enough to justify that. That's the big problem. The other side of that coin is every one of us have volunteered to be a part of a council. Now, when I say volunteered, I call it volunteered because we don't get paid. But we are elected to the position, and we are supposed to be responsible. We do take trainings that tell us how responsible we need to be, and we are willing to be challenged by doing something wrong and being sued or fined or whatever if we screw up. So, I think that the people that are on the NCs have to realize that this is a serious commitment that they make. And if they're not prepared to make the serious commitment, then they should not be on a council.
I think you could say that about any elected official.
Absolutely. That's true.
Some are serious and some show up, and some don't show up, and they still get their salary. And they get reelected. Okay.
City council.
I'm not. Look at the Congress right now. They still vote by proxy. It's ridiculous. So what are we saying about this? It sounds in general we support a hybrid method if we can come to getting data and from Don about how what's happened? How long have we been meeting this way? 2 years?
Yeah, it's 2 years now.
How do they have any data about failed meetings? What's the percentage of meetings that didn't have a quorum, things like that? Do they have any data on that?
I doubt any data has been kept.
Well, that's, that would be a failing of the department. I would think they would uh, keep some data to support themselves.
Well, maybe that's a motion that we can talk about at some point. Is recommendations to Dunn and to Bonk with regards to the type of information that they should be amassing in order to understand how to do their job.
Yeah.
Isn't
But I
that,
think it's part of this motion. We're looking at how meetings are to be conducted. And for us to conduct a meeting and make a meaningful decision, we need some data.
Yeah.
We're all dealing off the top of our head. I have a belief here, you have a belief. You may be right, I don't know who's right. But you would think the people in charge of this would have data. So I would say right now we should vote to keep in abeyance and recommend to Bonk and Dunn to prepare a report regarding participation in neighborhood councils in the past 2 years. How would that
I'll
work?
second that.
I'll second it.
Scott, did you hear that?
Yes, I did, sir.
You're for, against, are you in favor of that?
Yes.
Okay, so it passes unanimously. Thank you. Let's move on to the next one. Just an announcement. There's going to be a meeting on May 2nd at Van Nuys Hospital of the new superintendent of LAUSD. He's going to have an open house at 6:30 at Van Nuys Hospital. So if you want to meet with him, talk to him, you can be there. Okay. Now it's for number 9, board member announcements. Scott, Ralph, Brian, any announcements?
Nothing from me at this time.
And Ralph
Oh, nothing at this time.
and Scott, anything?
Nothing for me at this time.
Okay. In that case, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion we adjourn.
Adjourn, please.
Okay. I call the meeting to adjourn, and I'm going to stop the recording at, let's see, what time is it?
7:45.
7:45. Okay, I told you it'd be a good meeting. Thank you for the discussion. I think we have something to report back to the board, and we'll go from there. And I'll
Good enough.
disconnect Scott, okay?
Talk to you later. Thanks for the meeting.
Okay. Let me turn off the recording. Hold on a second here.
So Sid, I would ask that you try to identify another date that we could meet,
Okay.
because here again, I have missed the CPAP meeting, and I feel really bad that I'm abusing that right to be on that group.
No, I understand. No, it's not right. Okay. All right, so what about the third Thursday? Okay. No, that's not good for me. How about the third Tuesday? Is that,
A Tuesday is a good day for me because most councils that I go to on Tuesday I don't have to go to, so that would be fine. But everybody else, I don't want it to be just for me. So everybody has to agree that it's good for them.
I have to check my meetings. I don't know. I can't tell offhand.
okay. All right. I must. Okay, the meeting's adjourned, and I got to find to turn it off. All right. Talk to you guys later.
All right, bye-bye.